Alright, picture this. It's Thursday night, you're looking at your phone, and you see a nice little chunk of change sitting in your earnings app. You earned it, you worked for it, but payday isn't until tomorrow. So, you think, can I just leave it there? What actually happens to it if I don't transfer it out right now? Have you ever wondered that? I know I have. We live in a world of instant gratification where we can order food, stream movies, and pay bills with a tap. But when it comes to those hard-earned dollars sitting in a digital holding pattern, it can feel like a bit of a mystery. Are they growing interest? Are they just sitting there doing nothing? Or are they somehow evaporating? Let's be real. The world of digital earnings and instant pay is still relatively new. We're all trying to figure out the nuances of how these platforms work and what happens when we don't follow the usual routine. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We're going to break down the mechanics behind those earnings and unpack what happens to them when you decide to hold off on that transfer. Now, before we get into the specifics, it's important to understand that the answer isn't a simple yes or no. It varies wildly depending on the platform you're using, the type of earnings you're dealing with, and even the terms of service you agreed to when you signed up. Think about it. Are we talking about earnings from a gig economy app, like driving for rideshare or delivering food? Or are we talking about freelance payments from a client? Or maybe you're a content creator with earnings from a platform like YouTube or Twitch. Each of these scenarios has its own unique set of rules and regulations. Let's start with the gig economy. These platforms are built on speed and flexibility. They want you to get paid quickly, to keep you motivated and engaged. But what happens if you don't? Most gig economy apps hold your earnings in a virtual wallet or balance within their system. This is essentially an internal ledger, tracking what you've earned. They typically don't transfer these funds to a traditional bank account until you initiate the transfer or until a scheduled payday. So, what's happening to that money in the meantime? In most cases, it's simply sitting there. It's not earning interest, it's not being invested, and it's not being used for any other purpose. It's just a digital representation of the money you've earned, waiting for you to claim it. However, there are a few important caveats to consider. First, some platforms may have specific policies regarding an activity. If you don't access your account or transfer your earnings for an extended period, they might consider it abandoned and take action, such as closing your account or even forfeiting your earnings. This is usually outlined in their terms of service, so it's always a good idea to read the fine print. Second, some platforms may offer optional features, such as instant pay or expedited transfers, which often come with a fee. If you choose to use these features, you'll get your money faster, but you'll also pay a small price for the convenience. Now, let's move on to freelance payments. If you're a freelancer, you're likely dealing with a variety of payment methods, from direct bank transfers to online payment platforms like PayPal or Stripe. When a client pays you through a direct bank transfer, the money typically goes straight into your bank account. There's no intermediary holding period, and you have immediate access to your funds. However, if you're using an online payment platform, the money may sit in your account until you choose to transfer it to your bank. These platforms often act as a digital wallet, allowing you to store and manage your funds. Similar to gig economy apps, these platforms typically don't pay interest on your balance. However, they may offer additional features, such as currency conversion or international transfers, which can be useful for freelancers working with clients from around the world. And what about content creators? Platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon have their own unique payment systems. YouTube, for example, pays creators through Google AdSense. Earnings accumulate over time, and payments are typically issued on a monthly basis, provided you meet the minimum payment threshold. If you don't meet the threshold, your earnings will carry over to the next month. Twitch, on the other hand, pays creators through a variety of methods, including direct deposit, PayPal, and wire transfer. Payments are typically issued on a monthly basis, but the specific timing may vary depending on your payment method and location. Patreon, a platform for creators to receive recurring support from their fans, also has its own payment schedule. Payments are typically processed on a monthly basis, but creators can also choose to receive payments more frequently. In all of these cases, the earnings are held within the platform system until they are issued to the creator. Again, They generally aren't earning interest while they are there. Now, let's address a common concern, the security of your earnings. Is it safe to leave your money in these digital wallets? The answer is, it depends. Reputable platforms invest heavily in security measures to protect your funds. They use encryption, fraud detection, and other security protocols to safeguard your account. However, no system is completely foolproof. There's always a risk of hacking, data breaches, or other security incidents. That's why it's important to choose reputable platforms, use strong passwords, and enable two-factor authentication whenever possible. Another important consideration is the financial stability of the platform itself. If a platform goes bankrupt or shuts down, there's a risk that you could lose your earnings. This is a rare occurrence, but it's something to keep in mind. So, to summarize, what happens to your earnings if you don't transfer them before payday? They generally sit in a digital wallet or balance within the platform system. They typically don't earn interest. They are subject to the platform's terms of service, which may include policies regarding inactivity or account closure. They are subject to the security measures implemented by the platform, but there's always a risk of security incidents. The specific rules and regulations vary depending on the platform and the type of earnings. Ultimately, the best course of action is to transfer your earnings to your bank account as soon as possible. This gives you greater control over your funds and reduces the risk of any potential issues. Now, there are some exceptions. Some platforms are starting to offer interest-bearing accounts or allowing users to participate in some form of investment within the app itself. These are newer features and are not the norm, but they are becoming more common. Always read the fine print. So, the next time you're looking at your earnings app and wondering what to do, remember that it's your money and you have the right to access it whenever you want. Don't let it sit in limbo. Take control of your finances and transfer those earnings to your bank account. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.